Hey guys, STYF here with another video. Today we're looking at the endgame boss fight for the Draconic Evolution mod. I struggled with this boss fight when I was getting into the endgame of the Feed the Beast Ocean Block pack. This is version 1.16.5, so that'll also be version 1.16.5 of the Draconic Evolution mod. I don't know what's changed before then or after then, but hopefully this will help shore things up with how to beat this boss. So I'll be playing clips of what I'm talking about in the background while I'm talking about the different attacks and whatnot, so keep your eyes out for that. Otherwise, the rest of the footage will be on the back end of this video, so that's kind of why it's a bit longer. The boss fight itself is somewhat similar to the end dragon fight, mainly because you have these towers that you have to take the crystals out on top of. So to get into the strategy, you want to start by getting your prep work done, taking your safety precautions, and then to spawn the boss in, you just have to go to the center of the arena. So go to the center of the arena, spawn the boss in, and while the boss is spawning in, you want to fly around and go to the tops of these different towers, and using vein miner or whatever you want to use to help delete the blocks off the top of this structure. Just get those blocks out of the way so that you can, later on in the fight, bait the dragon's attacks into hitting the different crystals so that you can make them vulnerable to your attacks and so that you can destroy them and work towards destroying the immunity that the boss has to your attacks. You have to kill all the crystals to take away the immunity. But after flying around and taking down the cages and baiting attacks onto the pylons, the attacks that you want to bait onto the, I call them pylons or crystals, whatever, are the normal flying attacks, but also the attacks that he has when he's stationary. The only one that you can really bait into the crystals is the linear breath shot. There's footage of me baiting those attacks into the crystals to help destroy them. Everything else you just want to dodge. The laser you can't dodge, you have to hide behind something. I personally like to hide underneath the bottom center of the platform. I built a little platform so that I could do that on this boss fight just because of how the terrain generated. And it's on that laser attack that all the other attacks stop you from being able to fly and sort of suck you in towards the center, but the laser attack, it lets you go free, so you're free to run and hide. You can distinguish between the three stationary attacks using the cues of the gravitational pull inward. So on the wither and the linear breathing, there's some particle effects, but also you see your character being pulled towards the center. And on the laser attack, which you want to be quick about, and you'll see me dodging towards a hole before I even know which is which because I'm trying to get out of the way so quickly, is that you aren't pulled towards the center on the laser attack. So you can react a bit more quickly if you try to preemptively, when you see the dragon going towards the center, try to find an escape route to get safe from that laser, because that laser is by far the more deadly attack. But that's pretty much the strategy. It's bait the linear breathing attacks and the flying breathing attacks towards the crystals so that you can target the crystals and take them out. And then all of the other attacks you want to dodge or hide or otherwise avoid taking as much damage as possible, because this boss deals a lot of damage. So you sort of just want to repeat those things until all the Chaos End crystals are destroyed, and then you're free to attack the dragon until it dies. So that's the mechanics, that's the simple sort of front side of things. Then we go into some of the preparation and safety precautions. I suggest bringing in Awakened Draconium tools, armor, and modules installed on the tools and armor, and having a significant power source to help recharge your tools and armor mid-fight, because you'll be needing that. Non-creative base or elytra base flight is suggested, because on that linear breathing attack and that the wither stage, both of those things disable your ability to fly normally. So I like to use a jetpack that I had in my charm slot, and I know every mod pack's different, every mod is going to be different, but some way to fly and bait those attacks up towards the tops of those towers is going to be useful. And keep in mind that healing's not a factor, so don't prep a bunch of potions and whatnot. You're going to be pretty much solely relying on your shield capacity and your shield recharge rate. And also, again, keep in mind that this boss fight is 10,000 blocks away in the X or Y direction, It's on a grid pattern. So you'll want to keep in mind that this is a place you're going to need to be returning to, likely if you die, especially. So bring some sort of teleportation or some sort of ability to get back, whether it's /home or whatever. And that sort of leads into the safety precautions to take with this thing, so that you don't end up dying and having to figure out a way how to get back and take forever. Just to set up a reliable way to get back to the arena and recover your items, whether it's /home or a teleporter or whatnot. And if it is a teleporter, make sure you have duplicates of the ability to teleport there, whether it's like a handheld item. Obviously, if you die with a handheld item, then you can't use it to get back there and get your stuff. When you're returning to the boss arena, keep in mind that the last phase that he was in will likely continue going. So like the laser attack can really catch you off guard when, you know, the chunks aren't loaded in yet. They just load in and then you get beamed because, you know, you couldn't see where he was or where the laser was coming from. And also keep in mind that the withers have a very large aggro radius, so they may come and get you from quite a distance. So be wary the durability of your setup. If you're set up nearby the arena, they may fly over and come ruin your teleporting ability, and you don't want that. The safest phase to return to is the flying phase. That's probably the least aggressive phase. So, and that about covers it. What I did was just, I had a matter receiver from, I believe it's RF Tools, and I just had multiple remotes that had the same destination encoded in it. I claimed the chunks that the teleporter was in so that it couldn't get destroyed, because in the claimed chunks the mob briefings turned off. These were some of the things I did to help me get back if I did end up dying. So we'll just go into the rest of the footage. I'm only going to show some of these attacks like once before going ahead and cutting through the rest, because it is a pretty long boss fight. So I won't bore you all with all of the details, but hopefully you've gotten enough from the intro about the mechanics, and hopefully some extra tips and tricks on the prep and the safety here to help you get through this relatively painlessly, because you're probably going to have to fight this boss quite a few times. I think this recording was either my third or fourth time beating it, so you'll get to see how I go and do that. So anyway, enjoy the rest of it. I'm not going to commentate over it, and I'll see you in the next video.